What's going on, guys? It's Lecton Gaming here, come back with another banger video on the channel. And in today's video, guys, we are going to be ranking the SMGs in Bad Business. But before I get into ranking the SMGs, I just wanted to say really quick, I haven't been uploading Bad Business content because I've not been enjoying the game. And as most of you probably know, I've been uploading some other content like Phantom Forces. Also, keep in mind when I'm ranking these that this is all purely my opinion and how I think the average Bad Business player could use these guns. Also, I'm going to be ranking these weapons in 3 different sections. So like the first section being the worst, which is be Garbo is what I'm going to call it, is like guns that you should only really use if you're just trying to have fun in the game, not really go for some high kill games or something like that. The next class is Meh, where the guns, yeah, they're basically the name, Meh. They're like your average SMG essentially. And then the last class being the best is called Best of Class, which is 3 guns that I've chosen that are the best SMGs in the game as of now. Anyways, starting us off as the worst SMG in the entire game is the Tommy gun. I'm sure all of us can agree on this gun just being absolute trash, like 20 bullets, practically no damage, recoil not being too great either, fire rate being slow. I mean, there's not really one thing that you can say is good about this gun except maybe the recoil, which also isn't as good as some of the other guns on this list. Next on our list is the Scorpion Evo. I know a lot of people have been pushing for a buff on this gun, and I'm pretty sure it received a small damage buff a few weeks back, but at the same time, it's still not a good SMG. I mean, 30 bullets, that's a pretty average amount of ammo for an SMG. It doesn't back that ammo up with anything except high fire rate and minimum recoil. But therefore, it just does no damage at all. Like as you guys saw there, it took me like 6 or 7 hits to kill someone, which I think the average Bad Business player would just have trouble hitting someone so many consecutive times, you know? I mean, I'm obviously a bit better, which is why I can practically use all of these guns and drop 50 kills, for example. But I think we can all agree that the average Bad Business player at this point can't really play that well with this sort of gun. Coming in at the number 10 spot, we have the MP7. Now this gun is honestly pretty average, and I think I could have put it maybe a bit higher, but I just think there's nothing really too great about this gun. I mean, it has pretty bad spread in general if you're just trying to hip fire someone. As for ADSing, it has a pretty high recoil, and therefore also has pretty low damage, making it pretty hard to use for the average Bad Business player. But I mean, if you learn this gun, I think this could actually be one of the top SMGs in the game. But if you're someone that's just picked up this game, this is definitely not a top tier pick for you. Next up, we have probably the most controversial decision of this entire video, the Chris Vector. Now, you guys may be wondering, but isn't like the Chris Vector an insane gun? Isn't it just absolutely tear through people with its high fire rate being 1050? Now, just hear me out before you guys go in the comment section and just start spamming me saying like, why did you even make this video? Look at the recoil on this. Do you guys think a 9-year-old child knows how to control this recoil? Like, I can control it somewhat, but at ranges, this thing just becomes absolutely horrible. Like, I mean, how do you expect someone to just be able to pick up this gun and start controlling the recoil? I'd say if you're a bit more experienced, definitely pick this gun up. It's not a bad choice to make. But if you're starting out, please, just don't use this gun. Its recoil is just way too hard to control at first, especially if you're new to FPS games. Not to mention, the Chris Vector pretty much has 0 damage range, so even if you do laser someone, if it's over around 150 studs, you're gonna be doing no damage at all. On the number 8 spot on our list, we have the UMP-45. I know this was probably the best SMG in the game at one point, but right now, it's just seriously overrated. Its recoil is really nothing special. If anything, it actually has some pretty bad recoil. But along with that pretty bad horizontal recoil, it does have some other downsides, especially damage and its spread. Its spread is very hard to control at longer ranges, so if you're going to want to do that, it's probably not going to work out for you too well. I would just recommend ADSing on this gun. If you're starting out at this game though, I would definitely recommend using this gun. Even if I'm putting it so low on the list, it's just because there's so many better guns in the game. But if you're starting out, it's definitely a really good starter gun to help you get into the game, realize, you know, that some guns do have a bit more recoil than others, and those sort of things. And now we're moving on to the second section, the meh guns. And starting us off would be none other than the PP-19. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be wondering why I would put the PP19 this high up on the list. And just hear me out, okay? First of all, 44 bullets, okay? Even if you have potato aim, like I do sometimes, and you can still have those 14 extra bullets instead of just 30, you know, to help you sort of hit the rest of your shots. And along with the sort of low fire rate on this gun, I think it's really, really good for someone who's not that good at FPS games and just, you know, needs those few extra shots to help them finish off the kill. Not to mention, this gun has super easy recoil to handle, so if you're someone who struggles with recoil, the recoil on this gun is really, really easy. So coming up next, we got the SMG-9. I didn't really know where to put this gun, so I just decided to put it in the average section, because this gun is pretty average. It has your high fire rate, sort of medium recoil, medium damage, pretty much medium everything. I think this is also like right in the middle of the list. If you've unlocked this gun, I think it unlocks at a pretty low level. Definitely use it. Considering its high fire rate and pretty decent damage, it's definitely a good pick for an SMG. And considering it has an 840 fire rate, it has a pretty easy to control recoil that climbs very, very slowly. So even for those of you who can't control recoil very well, this should be pretty easy to control. And if you can just start aiming really, really well with this gun, it just melts people at close range, or even sort of medium ranges if you can hit them. Coming up next, we have the Sten gun. Same thing with the SMG-9. I didn't really know where to put this gun at, so I just decided to put it here instead of where the next gun's gonna be, because it does have some early damage drop off at 150 studs instead of 200 like most of the other SMGs in the game. But other than that, this is pretty average, you know. I mean, it does have a kind of slower fire rate, a bit more damage than the SMG-9, and also some really, really easy to control recoil. Like, even easier than the PP19 probably. Like, look at this. This is pretty much a laser, okay? I mean, if you're complaining right now, I don't know what to say. Now, I guess this must be a trio of 3 because I don't know. I didn't really know where to put these guns. Anyways, up next we got the MP5, which is probably, to most people, the best SMG in the entire game because of its recoil. I mean, its recoil is non-existent at this point. And I think it also just received a damage buff a few updates ago, making this gun even better. Obviously, with the guns coming up, they will be a lot better than this, but like, if you're looking for an average SMG to use, this is your go-to pick here. Like, if you have the potato aim of potato aim, and you cannot do anything about it, use this gun. Just trust me, you'll be hitting headshots in no time. And now we are in the best of class section, the top 3 SMGs in the entire game as of now. And taking the 3rd spot is none other than the P90, a rank 0 gun. I repeat, a rank 0 gun, okay? That shoots like a laser beam with such a high fire rate. This gun has a 900 fire rate with less recoil than the FMG, which had a 840 fire rate. Like, what? And then on top of that, 50 bullets plus really good damage. I mean, if it weren't for the other 2 guns that I'm about to mention, this gun would take the #1 spot because it is absolutely insane. I don't think there's much else to say about this gun. It's insane. I mean, that's all there really is to say about it. Next up, we have the AUG 2. This is a pretty good gun, okay? It does more damage than pretty much all the SMGs in the entire game. But one thing I would recommend you do with this gun, if you do get it, buy a sight with it, okay? Because the iron sights are kind of meh to use and you cannot really aim at people long range. And then I can start, you know, just spamming people at windows like that, you know? If I put a sight on this gun, it just becomes 10 times better. And considering the fact it actually has some pretty decent and easy to control recoil for most players, it also comes in with 780 fire rate, which is pretty good, also considering the damage on it. Now, I do think the one downside to this gun is its damage range, which isn't really too good, and its ammo, which is only 25 bullets. So at longer ranges, you might run out of ammo most of the time. But if you're playing really aggressive, this is definitely one of the best guns in the game. Except, of course, if you're using the #1 pick. My #1 pick is so good that we needed a whole new map for this gun. This gun is none other than the SM03, okay? I know what a lot of you are thinking right now. The damage range on it is pretty bad. I think it's just 50 studs, but This is why I picked it for number 1, because you need to play aggressive with this gun and nothing beats it. Literally nothing, okay? 3-shot headshot capability, and then at the lowest damage, so if you hit him in the legs, it's still a 4-shot to the body, or the legs, which makes this gun an absolute powerhouse if you can hit your shots. I mean, look at this. I'm just melting people at close range. Like, you just have to hit your shots and you're good with this gun. It has 30 bullets. It has a pretty average fire rate for the SMGs. There's really nothing to say that there's bad about this gun. Anyways, guys, that was my list for the worst to best SMGs in the game. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.